Let's be clear from the start. If the German High Command had respected American generals at the beginning of World War II, they would never have declared war on the United States. Respect in war is not assigned by rank or reputation. It is earned through results, persistence, and the ability to force the enemy to adapt or collapse. In 1941 and 1942, German military leaders viewed the United States with open skepticism. America was seen as an industrial giant but a strategic novice. Its officers were considered inexperienced, its soldiers untested, and its doctrine unproven. The Wehrmacht had defeated Poland in weeks, crushed France in days, and fought Britain to a standstill. Compared to that record, the American army seemed irrelevant. History, however, would prove them wrong. Modern memory tends to celebrate the loudest figures of the war. Names like George S. Patton dominate books, documentaries, and popular culture. His aggressive style and dramatic personality made him unforgettable. But fear and respect are not the same thing. Even Patton's own biographer acknowledged an uncomfortable truth. German officers feared Patton's speed and unpredictability, but they did not admire him. To the German general staff, Patton was simply one dangerous opponent among many. Their war diaries rarely discussed him in depth. By 1944, Patton did not even warrant a detailed briefing in German high command records. The invasion of Sicily, in their view, was nothing remarkable. This does not diminish Patton's achievements. His shift toward mobile warfare in North Africa and Europe helped the Allies regain momentum. But in the German mindset, respect was reserved for those who fundamentally altered the balance of power. That officer was not Patton. It was James Harold Doolittle. When Japan attacked Pearl Harbor in December 1941, Doolittle was a major. He was already famous within aviation circles as a pioneering pilot and aeronautical engineer, but he had never commanded large combat forces. Within months, however, he proposed one of the most audacious operations in military history. The Doolittle Raid defied conventional logic. 16 B-25 bombers were launched from an aircraft carrier, something no medium bomber had ever done, striking the Japanese home islands and then attempting to escape across China. There was no realistic recovery plan. Every aircraft was lost. Several crewmen were killed. Others were captured and tortured. Doolittle flew in the lead aircraft. It was his first combat mission. The raid electrified American morale and shocked Japan, but it did little to impress Nazi Germany. From the German perspective, it was a symbolic stunt, not a strategic threat. But Doolittle was only getting started. By 1944, Doolittle had risen to the rank of lieutenant general and assumed command of the 8th Air Force in Europe, the largest aerial force ever assembled. The air war over Europe was not glamorous. It was a grinding campaign of attrition fought at high altitude, measured not in territory gained, but in aircraft destroyed and factories crippled. At the time, the Luftwaffe was still a formidable force. German twin-engine heavy fighters and armored interceptor units inflicted severe losses on American bombers. Without fighter escort, daylight bombing missions were nearly suicidal. Then came Operation Argument, better known as Big Week. Doolittle understood something critical. Germany's air force could not be defeated by avoiding it. It had to be forced into battle and destroyed faster than it could be replaced. Big Week was designed to do exactly that. In February 1944, the Allies launched coordinated attacks against aircraft factories across Germany. Targets included Leipzig, Brunswick, Gotha, Regensburg, Schweinfurt, Augsburg, Stuttgart, and Steyr. Nearly 4,000 heavy bombers and hundreds of fighters took off from England. But Doolittle introduced two revolutionary changes. First, the P-51 Mustang. Its long range could escort bombers deep into Germany and still fight effectively. Second, Doolittle changed escort doctrine entirely. Instead of tying fighters to bomber formations, he allowed them to sweep ahead, hunt German interceptors, and destroy them before they could reach the bombers. The results were devastating. German fighters were intercepted, overwhelmed, and destroyed in the air. Airfields were strafed. Experienced pilots were killed faster than they could be replaced. In 6 days of combat, the Luftwaffe lost hundreds of aircraft and irreplaceable veteran airmen. By the end of Big Week, the Luftwaffe was broken. 75% of Germany's aircraft production facilities were damaged or destroyed. The Luftwaffe could no longer defend German airspace effectively. By the time Allied troops landed in Normandy, flak, not fighters, was the primary threat to Allied bombers. German commanders noticed. Adolf Galland, one of Germany's most respected fighter aces and senior Luftwaffe commanders, later admitted that the German High Command never fully understood what was happening until it was too late. Doolittle's tactics forced the Luftwaffe permanently on the defensive. After the war, Galland became friends with several Allied officers, including Doolittle himself. He acknowledged that Doolittle's leadership made the destruction of Germany's oil industry, transportation network, and communications inevitable. This was respect, not fear, not myth. Respect earned through strategic clarity and relentless execution. James Doolittle did not seek glory. He dismantled an enemy system piece by piece. In doing so, he ensured Allied air superiority and made victory in Western Europe possible. Leading the way was one extraordinary American officer, quietly earning the respect of his enemy while changing the course of the war forever.